So thank you very much. As Priya said, I was on my way into the office for another meeting, something that is crucial to the fulfillment of the promises we made to people when we campaigned. But I thought I used the opportunity, since she is here and meeting with you, to also come and have a few words with you. Now, I came right here a few months prior to the elections in this very building. I had gone across the entire East Coast and I held about 20 meetings. And that was before the elections were called. And I said to people, we are aware of the things we have to do in this term. That the first term in office from 2020 to 2025, we had to breathe life back into an economy that was not generating jobs. Because when I was leader of the opposition, the biggest concern that people had when they came from across the country, and many were APNU supporters at that time too, who came to the office, they could not find a job. And the taxes, the government had layered the country with a whole range of taxes. And I promised them, I said, if we get back into office, we're going to remove those taxes, which we did. And we didn't introduce a single new tax in the 5 years from 2020 to 2025. And we said, we will not introduce any new tax from 2025 to 2030. That is a promise we made to the people of the country. And we remove all sorts, VAT on a whole range of items. We reverse a lot of the things that were affecting people. I recall taxi drivers coming and saying, we can't afford to buy a new car, a new tire, because the government had banned used tires. And we said, we're not going to allow that to happen, because the government at that time was receiving donations from a few rich people who were importing new tires. So they decided to ban used tires for everyone. But a lot of people, poor people, use that. So we focus immediately, although we had 2 years of COVID in the first term, we focus immediately on generating more jobs. And today I'm pleased to see that right across Guyana, but more so in this region, we have labor shortages. And although we have to keep our country safe, and we're watching now all of those people who are coming from abroad to work here, because there are lots of them are coming. And the new ID that you will get shortly will differentiate. Every person living in Guyana must have one of those. The citizens of our country will have a different color, and the foreigners will have another color. But we'll know, we'd have their biometrics. We're putting up 4,000 cameras in the next budget. You will see them in communities right across Guyana. So we can track people, the facial recognition software. We can pinpoint who is where in our country at any time. That's how, remember when the Venezuelans bombed the gas station, with a few cameras we put in, we managed to track them. And so it's going to make the community safer, but also keep our country secure. But if they were not here, our construction industry would collapse. Because if you go on most of the sites now, you see it's Venezuelans working. We can't find labor. So in a way, it's not so good, but in a way, it's a happy thing for us that we have labor shortages. When many countries around the world, people are looking for work, we have so much work that we can't find people, particularly a construction type work, that type of work, because we're building so many things. So we succeeded there, and we said we'll go back to health, education. That's why the 12 new hospitals, which now will pose a new challenge to us. We'll complete all 12 soon. 6 of those have been completed. But now in this term, we have to find the people train them, recruit people from abroad to make sure the services in these hospitals are of an international standard. So we have nicer buildings and facilities now. Now we have to make them work to deliver better services. So there were lots of things. We started building back roads and infrastructure. So when I came here, I said to you, we're aware of the things we didn't do as yet. One was the garbage collection in communities. That's the biggest concern you get from people. Two, some security in communities. Three, people parking on parapets everywhere with their big trucks and everything else, machinery and equipment. Four, some people have workshops in the center of communities that sometimes the residents, they're doing a polluting activity, a man mining sheep in the middle of the village or the NDC, this sort of thing. Street lights were the major concerns. These were the NDC sort of issues that we had. People building without permission. And then drainage. Drainage was a big issue. So we said, in this term, we're going to come back and address all of those things. And right now, we have about 90,000 lights that should be arriving soon, that we soon start putting up across the country. Right across the country, in all of the communities, not just on the highways, so better street lights. We're already mapping a plan for better drainage in communities. So we've given each NDC a piece of equipment, and we increased the subvention from 5 million to 30 million because we expect you to operate this equipment, so you need more money for gasoline or diesel or whatever to hire an operator. So you have money there. I've been getting reports that a lot of these pieces of equipment are not doing work as they should be doing. And sometimes the priorities of the community are to build a bus shed, which people hardly use at the NDCs. They want to take the 30 million to build a bus shed. The bus shed is not the priority at this stage. We can get that built from somewhere else. The concerns of the people, we should focus on their concerns first of all, and often it's drainage in these communities. So, but you have more money now, and in the next budget, we'll keep it at that level or maybe increase it. And so it moved from just 5 million per year to 30 million. That's a big increase last year. So that's on drainage. In terms of garbage collection, we said we're going to buy equipment for the communities. We had given a tractor and trailer to almost every NDC. And we, and by the way, I'm so pleased that the regional chairman is here now. Well, stand up and let him see you again. For the first time we control this region now. Every time I used to go to Cane Grove and everywhere else, and people ask me what's going on, and I said, well, we don't control Region 4 now, and in the past. But now I expect you and the team, all of our councillors, to be in the field. People must know you from the highway all the way to Cane Grove. They must know who you are. Many people went through 10 years and didn't even see the regional chairman once. Many of them couldn't recognize many of the councillors, etc. I expect all the councillors on our side, the PP councillors, at the regional level to support these NDCs. Your job, and you too, as REO, you need to support them. When they come in with a program, don't sit on it for 100 years, right? You know, I know what, so there are 100 years, but provided it meets our priority. Not that they want to buy, something to blow dry here or something like that with the government money. So yeah, coming back to this issue, I don't know if Samad is here already. I asked him to come just now because in each of these NDCs, I want you So between now and January 15th, to identify all the free land that you have, reserves. Not for the purpose of giving some businessman the land, because often the businessmen go and start squatting. Soon as you identify a piece of land, they want to squat and put something there or some piece of equipment. Not for that purpose. We need to find land in each of these NDCs and big villages, the large villages, because you have some villages that are huge, like Buxton, Annandale, Lusignan, Good Hope. These are big communities, where we now have to develop the infrastructure, like on Triumph. Before the elections, they were awarded the contract to do a 4-lane road. And the guys came to see me, the people from the village, and said, it will be disruptive of our lives, including those, the taxi drivers. So I said to them, we'll take a bit of land from Nari and develop a tarmac where a lot of you who are washing vehicles and doing all these things, you'll move on to the tarmac. It will be a quasi-industrial commercial area. Identified it so that everybody could get off the road going in, because we're building a 4-lane road. We don't want people on the road and blocking up the road and building shacks on the roadside and all of that. We're trying to change the country. So I expect all of you to look at the land available, including by the seawall, because we have a large reserve running there at the back there, where we can develop an area for parking of vehicles. We fence it, we put lights in, and you can pay to go and put your bulldozers and excavators and park it there. You have security. So you don't have to park in the village, because we want people to do business too, to own things, but they must not be disruptive of other people's lives. Similarly, we can develop an area where if you have a spray paint shop, you can move it there. Get a small plot there and you can move it. Now we are developing big commercial areas like at Colditch and Fowles area, the back of Fowles, because that was part of generating more jobs to the East Coast. So you can work just in these communities, and a number of big factories and other things are going to go there. I'm talking about a mini version of that back in the communities, so that you can easily, if you have a hairdressing thing, you might get a plot there and you can start it there. You don't have to go or set up your barber shop on the roadside or spray paint and affect your neighbor. So I want all of you to start looking at this, the assets under your NDC and in the big villages, and start mapping this out. So we can do a number of things and fulfill several promises by investing in those areas. We can get a place for people to park. We can move some of the polluting activities off the street and etc. We can plant the communities up in trees, which we're hoping to do. We'll get the cameras in the community for safety. We're starting the project for concrete drains soon, that in some of the communities you will see a lot of concrete drains being installed. We'll give you more equipment to pick up garbage, but if you have more garbage sites where we can take the garbage. Now, Lusignan here may serve many communities, but there are some NDCs that are far from that, and it's costly to move it very far. So, but if you have an area identified within your NDC, it may be easier and less costly to, with a tractor and trailer, to move it there. And then you can provide the service in a more predictable, reliable way, which is what the communities want. So these are some of the things I expect you to work on. We knew all of the issues. So I'm sure today these were the things that came up. A lot of these sorts of things that came up. And because I know about it, we're not politicians who are that far away from the people, that we're aloof and not aware of their concerns. We're aware we have to find the more sustainable solutions. The last term was on fixing bigger things. Now we got to get back down to the community level. Safe communities, I've seen some places where people don't have any pride. You have a school building, all it takes is a little paint to improve it, or a fence around some, even the NDC offices look like slums. They look like slums. You don't even put some crusher on in the yard, you don't make it nicer. All it takes, they look like slums. And not because you need new buildings. Everybody wants new buildings. Just little maintenance, put in a coat of paint or something like that. Then it makes it look more professional. People come, would not respect you if they come to an old building where people are anyhow and wear an old slipper walking around the building and stuff like that. You have to act professionally too. And so I expect to see some of these things happening, because we want to make sure that every community, we said safer, cleaner communities. That was one of our campaign slogans. Safer, so you can raise your family. They have recreational areas. Some of the land I want you to identify is to put in recreational facilities. So those of you who have like a reserve going to the seawall here on the East Coast. We had one there, the people squat, now we have a Chinese store on it. We're in court. Right down there, here by Monrepo Market. The Chinese government, they have a big Chinese facility there. We don't want that to happen. And it was facilitated by an NDC, but not under us, by APNU. They sold the reserve. But of course, you can't sell reserve, because the law prohibits you from getting title to any state land through prescriptive title. So we want a place like that. All we should have done is to grade it down, put a walkway right down, lights and benches. So it's safe. People can go in the evening with their families. They have a place to go to, all the way up to the seawall. Can walk out the seawall. That's the sort of thing we want to see in the communities. So more recreational place, safe places for children and family and elderly. When people get older, they can go there for a walk, exercise there on the seawall. That sort of thing. That's the vision now. And I expect all of you to be part of that, so as we work now to transform. So this is what I wanted to say to you today. I want to start off by, in each area, the identification of the land, all the land that we can then decide what to do in these areas. Did that to Priya Manickchand and her staff. The region should work along with them, get the people from the Sea Defense Public Works, because we have huge reserves at the back here. Some of it is here now, and people have started squatting there, some Venezuelans and others too. You have to be careful. People don't occupy the reserves right down by the seawall. So all of that we need to get done. You should set up a joint team. Let the regional chairman and one staff from your ministry look at this, right, for all of these areas. And once that comes in, then we will decide what we'll plan in which area. So that's all I'm going to say today, because there are lots of work. We've gone back. People don't see me at press conferences anymore. And the elections are over. We have to now deliver on our promises. So they cuss me all the time. I got a lot of cussing from our own people. Where are you all today? Where are you at 2 o'clock? But I'm back in making sure that whatever we promise, we can actually deliver. That's why we won with a landslide, because in 2020, we were careful about the promises we made. And we worked 5 years in spite of COVID to deliver on those promises. And we'll do so again. We'll do so again. So, that's all I wanted to say today. I expect Region 4, now that we're in charge, to have a change attitude to people. You're not bossing over them, lording over them. You're working collaboratively with the people in the NDCs right across the country. And the elections are over, so even those that are controlled by NDCs, that are controlled by the opposition, they would get our full support to transform the lives of the people who live in those areas. Because we want to make sure that all of our people, regardless of which community they live, that they move forward. So that's it. If you want to raise anything with me, feel free to do so. Thank you.